Hi everyone, welcome back to the Shibuya Pro Shop. Today I have another video for you that is aimed primarily at dealers. So this is supposed to help you service your customers a little better. I am going to show you how to replace the release lever and the threaded block on a ULTIMA series sight. So the parts are slightly different from recurve to compound sights. However, it is the same basic principle, so you will be able to use the same procedure for both compound and recurve sights. These parts don't need frequent replacements, but it is handy to be able to do it in case you have a locking block that is slightly worn down, or you want to clean it out by removing the block and cleaning out the cavity behind it if there's some water in it or some dust buildup that you want to get rid of. This is a very simple procedure. The only tool that you need is a small slotted screwdriver. So something that, like the ones that come with biter plungers or the wrench sets from Biter as well. That is the perfect size.
Okay, so we've got our sight here. This is an ULTIMA RC Pro, but this procedure works exactly the same on the RC2 and CPX2 and CP Pro sights. So whatever ULTIMA sight you have, this will work for you. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of this little pivot screw. This is the screw that works as a pivot for the release lever and also what holds it in place. So we need to remove this. So what we're going to do first is slide the windage block all the way off of the elevation rail, and then we will put it down upside down and just slide it onto the rail halfway. So you can see the threaded block is only halfway engaged, and that will relieve the tension from the release lever. So now we will take our flathead screwdriver. This is about a 2mm screwdriver. It's a 3mm screw, so go in with that little screwdriver, and then we will just loosen that screw all the way until you can feel it's no longer engaged with the threads. And then you can go in from the other side with the same screwdriver or with a little pin or a toothpick or something and just push that screw all the way out. And make sure not to lose it, obviously. And then there's no more tension on the release lever. There's no pivot screw holding it in place, so you can just take that lever and the attached spring out. What we need to do next, especially if you want to replace the threaded block, is we're going to just slide that block off of the rail and make sure to cover it with your hand. Otherwise the block, since it has springs in there, might fall out. And then you can see you can remove that threaded block, which might have worn down or which you want to clean. That comes right out, and it has two springs on the back. Sometimes if the block doesn't retract correctly anymore, that can be because these springs have gotten damaged, and for example they just have a bend in them, then they can't retract anymore. Okay, so this is fully disassembled now. There's nothing more you need to do, and now we're going to put it back together. Okay, so now it's time to put our sight back together. We have that threaded block, and we need to put that into that cavity inside the windage unit. First, with the springs attached, so just slide that into that cavity where it needs to retract into, and then pull it into that cavity all the way with your fingers, and just hold it for a second there, and then you need to block it in that position with something with roughly the same diameter. So I usually just use a pen or something and just slide it in there, and make sure that the release lever is actually blocked in at least half the way. All right, and then we can replace that release lever. So make sure that it still has that spring attached. That spring is only slid into a hole in the release lever, so make sure that's in place. And then we're going to slide it into that slit on the side of the windage unit, and it has a little indent for the spring to go into. So make sure that's aligned, and then we can slide the pivot part of the release lever back into the winch unit. And when we do that, you will see, hopefully, that it goes in there and it actually aligns with that hole for the pivot screw. So make sure these are aligned. You can see right now they're aligned, and you can see a little yellow shining through there. That is the spot we want to be in. And then we're going to take that pivot screw and push it back in. Obviously this needs to go in from the top where the indicator pins are, and then just wiggle that in, and it'll go right in most of the way right to where the threads start. And at that point you're already able to push the lever and just take that pin out, and then we will be able to refasten this screw here. And now you can see the screw is back in place. When we push that lever, it will retract the threaded block as it should, and then we can replace the block onto the side rail, and the side will work as new.
All right, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. That's all there is to this very simple procedure. We do have a few other repairs coming up. If there is any information that you would like us to cover, please let us know. Either in the comments down below or on Facebook in the messages. I do have the sales email in the description as well, so please let us know if there's anything you need from us, and we'll do our best to cover it. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.